There's been a lot of discourse in the shipping community ever since the release of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and while I want to understand everyone's perspectives, I think that we can all agree that some ships are just objectively better than others. Now, I by no means want this video to come across as me trying to tell you how to think or feel about the events of the game or the world of Final Fantasy VII, but hopefully it gives you a perspective on the game that may be just a little bit better than yours. And so once this video is finished, make sure to go down into the comment section below and let me know how your perspective has changed after listening to mine. And without further ado, let's dive into every single ship in all of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth from worst to best. Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the worst ship in all of Final Fantasy finds its origin in the Nibel region. This is the source of a lot of the trauma that Cloud and Tifa have experienced throughout the course of the game, and so I think that it's appropriate that a place with so many painful memories would also be the origin for easily the worst ship in the game. I mean, look at these two. They just look terrible next to each other. Just run down on the beach next to this little hut with the only redeeming quality being that
those aren't ships, they're boats.
What?
Those are boats. The joke doesn't work because they're boats.
What about the gondolas in Calm, though?
No, that's arguably less relevant.
The little dinghies in the swamp?
No.
How about the boat that the Gi takes us on down the life stream? How about that?
You literally just called it a boat.
Huh. Fine. Ships. Real ships is what we're sticking with. So starting out this list, I would have to say that easily the worst ship in all of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the dilapidated ship in the Cosmo Canyon. How it got here? I couldn't tell you, but it sure does look like a ship out of water.
Please shut up.
No, but honestly, it's very clearly bad at what it does, and short of it being a decent dig site, all things considered, there's really nothing else it has going for it, and so maybe it can just be converted into some firewood in the middle of the desert. I give this ship a 2 out of 10. And that leads us to our next ship on the list, and that is more of a metaphorical ship than a real ship, and that is the ghost ship from the Pirates Rampage minigame in Costa del Sol. And the reason it's so low is because regardless of where I am, what the game is, whether it's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or a game like Toy Story Mania and Disney World, I always choke under the pressure in shooting range minigames or games in general. It's pretty, it's clever, it's well made, but it is not only my least favorite minigame in Rebirth, but is also easily the second worst ship in the game. 3 out of 10, with it being topped only just barely by the Brigantine in the Pirates Rampage minigame. Probably comes as no surprise that these would be back to back, but I have to put this one a little bit above the ghost ship because it's easier, and therefore it makes me feel more competent, and if it makes me feel more competent, I like it a little bit more. Also, it's a bit more aesthetically pleasing, so here we are. 3.5 out of 10. This next entry, I'll be honest, maybe I'm cheating with this one a little bit, but this is a culmination of ships that are just very bad at doing their jobs. So I'm gonna lump all of the ships in the Junon ship graveyard here together because you get the gist. They're all beached, they're all unable to ship properly, and so therefore I don't think that any is better than the other because none of them are good at doing their jobs anymore. Either way, I think that this area is actually a really cool piece of show don't tell storytelling based on Junon's former status as a city that was once literally built on the back of boats before Shinra got involved. And now, because so many of the boats in the Junon region are beached, destroyed, abandoned, and with lots of their cargo just strewn throughout the area, it makes it a really cool portion of the game's world. Pair this with the fact that there are a lot of points of interest in this area, from caches to a Mako well found within one of the ships, our fight with the Mind Flayer, and even 2 of the Fort Condor boards. It's just a really fun area that we get to experience as Cloud and the crew. Because the ships aren't good at shipping, 6 out of 10. But now we are getting into the big leagues. Now, a ship I haven't seen anyone in the Final Fantasy community talking about and giving it the credit that it deserves is the ship that you lower to help you get into Upper Junon before the parade. I think that not only do you access this ship through the Dolphin minigame, which is one of the more fun minigames in my opinion, but I think that is easily one of the best instances of a ship actually being useful in the game without any violence or destruction occurring in its hull. I love that this ship is in reality just a glorified elevator, and I think that more people should love it too. While many ships in this game hold horrors beneath their decks, this ship does nothing but support Cloud and the rest of the party through their goals, and we should all strive to be more like this ship. The only reason that it's not higher is because it couldn't support us more. And so with that, I give it a 7 out of 10. But if we're going to praise that ship on its function, we need to give some props to a ship with some form and some fun. So when I started making this list, I never really considered how many minigames were tied directly to ships in the game, and yet here we are. And I have to say, for the sheer fact alone that is so unique, the spaceship from the Galactic Saviors minigame in the Gold Saucer has to come in at number 3. Not only is this a really fun minigame, all things considered, but I also like this area because the portion of the Gold Saucer that houses this attraction also holds some NPCs who allude to Shinra's space and aeronautics program, which outside of us seeing Palmer, the executive director of this division, a couple times throughout the course of the game, we have heard next to nothing about it up to this point in the remake trilogy. And I am really a sucker when games use easily missable dialogue like this for world building. So suffice to say, good minigame plus environmental storytelling, it makes me smile. 7.5 out of 10 on this ship. So stay with me here, I understand that in Rebirth, the High Wind had quite literally next to no relevance to the story, but like, it's Final Fantasy, it's an airship, what more can you really want from it? Let's just let it marinate for right now, you know? It'll get there eventually, and until then, we can just enjoy looking at it, knowing what's to come. Unless you don't know what's to come, in which case, it'll, never show up again, and I have it as the second best ship because the idea of an airship in a Final Fantasy game is pretty cool. 8 out of 10. Now what would this list be without a mention of the tiny Bronco herself, which I will say operates as effectively a pirate ship throughout the Meridian Ocean portion of the game, but I digress. I guess technically I can't quite call it a ship. Nor do I think that Sid would either, but this is the tried and tested vessel that gets our band of misfit toys all around the world. Whether it be by sea or sky, it always somehow gets the job done. And with a pilot like Sid, how can you argue with it? And so just because Sid is the pilot, if nothing else, the Bronco pretty much ensures itself an honorable mention right here. And if I could ethically count it as a ship, it would be number 1. But I digress. The tiny Bronco gets one big Bronco out of 10. Alright, so coming in at number 1, easily the best ship in the game, may be a controversial one for some of the Final Fantasy VII purists in the room, since it's no longer a full-fledged cargo ship. But let's be honest, the Shinra 8 cruise ship is far and beyond the best ship in all of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Sure, we don't all dress up in sailor uniforms this time around, but you know, Barrett still does, and I personally think that's all we really needed, right? Also, I'm a massive Queen's Blood fanatic, so I'm sure you can see how the Queen's Blood tournament, where you get to play against party members, the Wall Market crew, and Regina, would be such a standout moment for me. Also, you get to see Cloud doing yoga on the deck. How can you beat that? And even with it now being a cruise ship, it admittedly doesn't lose its cargo ship-esque charm below the deck, as everyone is packed in like sardines with hammocks instead of real beds, and the halls and rooms are very industrial instead of being a warm, inviting cruise atmosphere. And if that just doesn't scream Shinra capitalism, then I don't know what does. This ship is chock full of fun and memorable character moments while maintaining some of the horror on the high seas found in the original game. Also, this is where Aerith and Tifa say that they want to talk about boys, so like bringing it full circle here. They're talking about ships on a ship. 10 out of 10. So that is every ship in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth from worst to best. And so let me know if your perspective really did change along this journey that we took together, and leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, why not liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and why not even ringing that notification bell so that you get any other Final Fantasy content that goes up on this channel. And I hope you have a very happy April Fool's Day. And as always, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, a fantastic rest of your week, and why not even a fantastic rest of your month, and I will see you in the next video. Later.